Welcome to B&H Creators Green Room, and just like a real green room, we're here to spill the tea with some of our favorite creators. When I think photographer and creator, the only one person that honestly comes to my mind is Brandon Woelfel. So I'm so excited to have you on today. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, what's up? How are we doing?
Good. Honestly, I want to, thank you for your time and for doing this because you've long been a part of the B&H creator community. So
Yes.
I couldn't do this podcast without you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Of course. No, I'm super excited to be here today.
Yeah. So let's tell the audience, I guess, when we first met, I think it was we did a Nikon activation and you led a workshop last year.
Yes. So, I guess I could start with just a little background of me. I am Brandon. I'm 30 years old, and I grew up on Long Island, New York, and now I live in Brooklyn, New York, which is how we got connected because we're both in New York City. And I have a sort of long-term relationship with Nikon, which is really cool. So yeah, we came together back in the fall to host a workshop with two other creators where we each had our own little stations, and people could come through, and we kind of got to teach them a little bit about composition and lighting. And I think there was also some slow-mo tips in there as well. So it was just a super fun night to kick off. I feel like just a year of fun photography for everyone.
Yeah. And honestly, that's really what the B&H creator events aim to do, bring that core audience together with education as the backbone of it. So the fact that you were teaching portrait style, and the fact that we had Amari there doing composition, and we had a trampoline, I think, which broke way too early into the evening, but it was supposed to be to get kind of slow motion video clips.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So fun. Thank you again for doing that. And we love the Nikon team. So I think it was a huge hit. Yeah. So take me back to the beginning, because a lot of the listeners are probably early career starting creators, folks who maybe have launched their channels but really are looking for ways to level up and grow. And I don't want to gas you up. That's not the point of this. But you're such the GOAT. Everyone at B&H follows you. I think you're the epitome of how do I take photography and couple it with social media. And I think you kill it every single time. So yeah, how did this start? How did you become a photographer?
Yeah. So I always started like this. I photography was sort of the last medium I sort of touched. I was always into art growing up. I was taking drawing classes, painting classes, ceramics. I was doing everything related to art that I could, especially in high school. I was super into it. And I kind of always thought that photography was the easy way out in a way, because I was I had no concept of it, and I would just see maybe other people my age or in my class do it. And I was oh, well, they're just snapping a picture and I'm spending 3 weeks on this drawing. And I feel I kind of had this a bad taste about photography when I was getting into art. And it wasn't until Instagram came out that I wanted to dive into it. So I first got Instagram when I was I think I was a senior in high school when it came out. And so
But you just made me feel so old.
No, me as well. I'm geez.
Unwell.
But when Instagram came out, something about social media for me, even back then, was super important. I was on Twitter, back in I feel I was constantly just super into new platforms that were coming out, and I really wanted to try it out and kind of take my art in a way and use it for and in a different kind of media method per se. So I dived into Instagram and got really into it. So I went to SVA for computer art. And
shout out SVA.
Yes, we love them. And throughout schooling, I was kind of getting my toes in different types of 2D, 3D media. So I was still doing Instagram, having shoots and having fun with that. But I feel I was also trying to take my schooling seriously. So I would kind of separate the two into almost business and fun and pleasure. I feel I would kind of do photo shoots and have fun with that, but I wouldn't ever really blend the two. I feel they were pretty separate in my brain. And it was funny because we were still sort of learning the ways of photography. We had a class all about settings, and I took a class all about color and how that sort of comes to be in a photograph, but I wasn't like ever blending the two in my brain. Like I just tried to keep them separate. But when I graduated after 4 years, I was like kind of at this crossroad of like, do I pursue computer art and this 2D, 3D media that I was learning, or do I go the route of photography? I've been building my like Instagram and starting to work with brands. And I feel like when the summer hit, I just was like, I'm just going to take the next few months and try and really focus in on this photography, social media sort of journey and see where that takes me. And from that point, it's now been, where I'm aging us again, but it's been like 9 years because I think I graduated in college in 2016. So I've been freelancing since doing social media since I graduated. So I haven't done anything like, I haven't ever gone to like into an office for a 9 to 5. I've just been doing Instagram, social media, YouTube since.
Oh my gosh,
that
the
point.
dream. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been crazy.
That's crazy. I was like doing quick math in my head, and I graduated college in 2010. So I'm just gonna pass away now.
No, I'm like, maybe we could just leave like numbers.
Yeah, no more numbers. A lady
We're
never.
2 years old.
Yeah, exactly. It's as young as you feel.
Yeah, there you go.
But obviously, I love that you've been on the journey the whole time, though, because the algorithm has changed every 5 minutes, and 100%. Even the way Instagram was so photo-centric to begin with, and now it is really video. It's really a video platform, just like all the other platforms. How are you adjusting and pivoting? Or like at this point, are you like, no, I'm a photographer and this is it, and I don't have to adjust for every algorithm switch?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. I think what's really cool about like Instagram and these social media platforms that are constantly changing, I feel like because I grew up using them, and that's really how I got my start within photography, is like I, without even knowing, will sort of like blend and like kind of flow with the changes without even knowing it. And I feel like that's what really kind of keeps me going and doing this for so long, is because I'm having to like adapt to these platforms. And sometimes I definitely get a little bit stubborn. Like I feel like I was kind of known back in the day for like adding like white borders on my photos for a while. And like I kept those going like a little too long, I feel like. Like they kind of announced like, you know, reels and vertical like 4x5 photos. And I was still like posting square like 4x3s with white border. Like I was like stuck to it. And I feel like it's been really cool to just kind of transition my work with kind of how, again, like these platforms change. And I have really, especially this past year, kind of like dived into reels and video creating as well. And it's been like super fun to like have that be a part of my process as well. Like I think at first I'm very like, I get very comfortable with how things are. And I kind of almost need that like switch up for me to be able to like change my work in a way. And so, especially when like, even I remember the day when like stories came out, like I was like, oh my God, I have to like do the, like now I have to focus on this. And now it's reels, it's all these things. And it's definitely like a lot as creators to try and keep up with everything. I don't think we should strive to be able to like, you know, people are being like post 5 times a day. Like I feel like I'm still trying to stay true to how my process is, but just kind of pivot in ways where it also works for me.
And I mean, you have a massive following. I mean, like, and I think I think it gets attributed to your art. I think that's probably the driving force of like why people are following you. But do you ever get like that pressure of like, well, I need to meet what the community wants, or is the art just what they want, and therefore you can kind of stay true to like whatever's true to you at that stage?
Yeah, I think back in the day, I like talking about maybe like 2015, 2016, I definitely had that mentality of trying to create images that other people and my followers would like. So I would like almost study different like likes that I got in an image and be like, okay, well, they like this better. I should do more of that. And I feel like more recently, especially within the past few years, obviously that's still going to be in your brain. Like I'm not saying that I've completely like kind of washed that away, but I definitely don't care about that as much. And especially with like even talking about like a posting schedule or things like that, I've kind of like completely gotten rid of things like that and just kind of tried to listen to like my body and my brain and see where I'm at that month, that week, even that day, and kind of ebb and flow with the inspiration that comes. Because I feel like if not, you would just sort of like burn out. And I feel like I do see a lot of different like creators like take breaks or do certain things. And I feel like I almost like, even if I do go on like a break or something like that, like I'm never like announcing it. I feel like I'm just like, oh, I'm just this week I'm not going to post as much, and I don't take it too seriously, even though it is my job. I feel like I try to just come like have my inspiration kind of ebb and flow with how I'm feeling, you know?
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's so important. Every episode so far of this podcast has been about creators avoiding burnout because it's so real. And I think now it's like going to be a game or something next season where we take a little drink every time someone says burnout.
I'm done.
To avoid burnout. But it's so true. Like, do you have any pressure when you have brand work though? Because I know you do so much brand work and you can't tell the brand like, well, I'm taking a week off. Or can you empower yourself to kind of put those boundaries in place?
I feel like what's funny about my brain, I kind of separate like my personal work and the brand work. And when I'm working for a brand, and I have like a set of deliverables, I really like lock in a way. And I feel like I kind of push all my like personal like work and my test shoots to the side and really just like focus in on what me and the brand are working on in that moment. And I think that kind of helps me in a way too, like being able to work off of a team, because I feel like within this freelance world and me working by myself, like I have people I like bring on as like assistants or like a makeup artist and things like that. But I'm not like reporting to anyone. Like I kind of do everything myself in a way. Like I don't even have a direct like manager. I kind of do everything on the back end myself as well, because I like enjoy it, and it's just what I've been doing and it's been working. And so it's kind of been fun to be able to then transition into these jobs with like a full team and be able to work with them and jump on calls. And it feels more of like a schedule per se. Like I feel like when I was in school, I was kind of scared of having like a real job, like a 9 to 5 or something like that. I always wanted to do like wake up when I want and do all these things when I want. But it is nice, you know, to be able to work with people, have calls with people, and like bounce ideas off of. And I definitely do sort of like separate the two. And I think that's how I try to avoid burnout, I guess, in a way too, is by sort of taking a break on more like personal shoots and tests while I am focused on like a job.
Right. And I think so much of like your aesthetic and your style is so, I want to say whimsical. Is that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think like you're just the epitome of an artist in my mind. You know what I mean?
Thank
like,
you.
No, truly. So, and I feel like being a creator is almost, it does become so very business-like. You know what I mean? Because now you're an entrepreneur. You are running this thing that is sometimes way bigger than people really expected it to be. And
for sure.
Usually I would say like, you know, at what point do you get a team? But like you just said, you don't have a team. So is there like a plan for the next phase, or are you really happy kind of?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's going to scale to a point where maybe you do need somebody.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I feel like I've kind of like, although I don't have like a set team, I feel like I still have like almost like a community, it feels like, because I kind of have almost like this roster of people I am like coming to or pulling from for certain jobs. So like if, you know, a client does come to me and they're like, oh, like this is our budget, we need you to almost like produce a shoot. Like I know like exactly who to call and like what studios to rent. And it feels really nice to be able to have those people that are also down to create with me. But yeah, it is funny because I feel like when it comes down to like almost having maybe like a social team, like the managers of it all, I definitely have had like calls with different like managements and things like that. But I feel like I haven't found anyone or like anything, I guess, that like will rep me as hard as like I can in a way. Cause I feel like I always like, at this point, I know how my schedule is. And so I know where my rates can fall in certain times of the year. And I think I just know myself at this point, like really well, and how I work. And I feel like it would take a lot to be able to like find someone to represent me in a way, I guess, that could almost do it better than me. And I don't want to sound like conceited in a way. I think it's just more of, you know yourself better than other people know you.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very similar. And I feel like it's probably an aspect of being a creator too, is like you want to control the product, you want to control the vision behind it. So why not also control the contract or the negotiation or all that other stuff?
For sure.
Yeah. Have there been things you've learned along the way? Like, I mean, I've worked in corporate for a long time, so I've seen my fair share of contracts. Yeah. But as a creator, the first time you get like a brand deal, is it just like gibberish? Like, how did you navigate that, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long time coming with like just learning throughout these contracts and these negotiations. And I think more recently I've learned a lot about just like, yes, like a certain number, a certain budget may look really nice, but also think to yourself, like how, like all the time and the energy it's going to take, like leading into that deal. So like if it's, you know, a 6-month thing or like a year-long contract, which I've had before, yes, that like big chunk of money sounds really nice, but just know like that will kind of take you throughout the whole year, and you're going to be putting, depending on what the deliverable is, like you're going to be putting a lot of your time, your energy, your resources into that, and just making sure it's like worth it for me and, you know, for you, if you're doing something similar, to move forward with that. Because I feel like with me specifically, I'm talking more so like renting a space. I'm like having maybe to like pay for a location release and then paying people on the team. So it's like, yes, a nice, again, chunk of money might look nice, but you definitely have to think about where that money's going and divvying it up, and also making sure there's some left over for you and your time and your energy that you're putting into everything.
Right. I heard a really great tip one time that said, always pay yourself first.
Yeah.
And I think,
for sure.
Yeah, creators maybe don't do that enough, or like don't think through that enough. Cause like you said, like there's so many other parts of it that you have to, you know, are non-negotiable. Like the space is the space, you know, the hair and makeup person is the hair and makeup person, but also like you are a person and you deserve, you know, a flat set rate that you're comfortable with too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you navigate, like, I guess, advocating for yourself? I mean, at this point, I feel like people are coming to you, they know who you are, they're going to put the respect on your name. But the creators who are like, I'm overwhelmed, I have imposter syndrome, I don't know how to do this. Like, how do you advocate for yourself? And this also might just be good for everyone, right? Like, not even just creators, like people in corporate need to hear this advice too.
Yeah, I think it goes back to just like kind of being, obviously it takes a lot to just come up with confidence. But I think that confidence is sort of like learned within the space. Like just the more time and the more shoots I've been able to produce and shoot, the more like, you know, you learn from mistakes, the more confidence you gain. And obviously it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of trial and error, but when, you know, the longer you do it, I feel like the more sort of confident you get within your work. And not only your work, I feel like your rates as well. So like if a brand is coming to me and, you know, I really want to work with them, but they can't like maybe meet where I'm at, like I will just at this point just walk away from what that looks like, because I know like what I have to offer in a way. So I think it's all about just like getting to a point where you don't always have to feel confident in your work, but knowing that you have your work out there at least for people to see and can relate to what you're able to produce.
Right. That's such good advice. I love that. And you've also been doing a lot of other types of projects now too. Like every time I go to these trade shows and Nikon has a booth, you're there, front and center. So do you love being at panels? I mean, you were at Build, you've done a bunch of other things. Is that like the next stage in your career too? Like, could you teach? Is that on the radar?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I feel like these conventions have been super interesting because it's been, you know, you're teaching live, and when you take that and you compare it to like a YouTube video or something, it's like there are so many different cuts. Like if something goes wrong, you could just simply cut that, no one will see, and it feels very polished in a way. But it's been really fun to like almost take down those walls. And I've done like a live shoot at like the Nikon booth in front of like I don't know how many people, but and it's just like, you know, I'm shooting and I'm like forgetting that there's people watching. And it's definitely something I'm sort of getting, like dipping my toes into and getting used to, but I definitely want to improve and get better at it. And I think that's just really what's really fun about photography is there's so many like different pathways you can take. And even though I have been doing freelance work and photography for like over a decade now, it's like I'm still being introduced to like new parts of photography and where it can take me. And I'm just trying to like be more open about also saying like yes to certain things. And I feel like public speaking and showing up and showing my work on a giant screen like we did at the Build convention is definitely something I'm still getting used to, but it's been so fun to be able to also just connect with the people who may watch me online, like, and take them and now meeting them in person, like at these conventions. Like it's been so cool to put like faces to names and also hear just their feedback because I think it just hits different like in real life, you know?
Oh my God, it's so different. And it's such a nice way to like, it's taking the community out of like, like a forum or like the chat of YouTube and like bringing it in person is such a different, like, just like, I think it re-energizes people too, you know, and kind of creates that like, Absolutely. Oh yeah, I'm doing this for, yes, there are thousands of views or in your case, millions of views, but now it's also like, you know, like I'm actually connecting with someone and I'm seeing maybe like how their photography has changed because you've influenced them. Like that's such a cool, I'm Definitely. Sure. Yeah. So tell me what's coming up. Like obviously like so many things, but anything on the next couple months?
Yeah, I think I've really just been like we were talking about like photography education. Like I definitely want to dive into that more. So like I feel like expect me at more like conventions and different like live workshops. And just like trying to offer like what I know to other people because I feel like it's taken me a bit now to get to where I am, and I definitely want to like offer that to anyone who's asking. So definitely a lot of that, and I'm also just trying to like I don't have any like specific things I can say, but like I feel like I'm just trying to also get more into like reels in a way. Like I know that might sound like what's coming up like me making reels, that sounds kind of stupid, but
no.
It is like something that I've always kind of like shied away from like video, and I am so familiar with photo, and I think opening the door to a different like sort of media and a different process is just like how I want to take photography and this space like moving forward. Like I just want to always sort of make room for things I don't know that well and try and see where I can go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it's so easy now too to make videos. I mean, I learned video editing back in the day. You had to use like a proper software. You had to shoot on a real camera. But now like I think short form content has blown up. You can do in app, like within Instagram, you can edit a whole video. So even if a photographer may feel like that maybe is a little bit of like a learning curve, like I think that was true a few years ago. A lot of creator photographers were like, oh, I don't want to do video at all. Because the barrier to entry is harder. And we haven't talked at all about like AI, but obviously like AI is the new frontier, I think, for photographers in general. Is it something you're worried about? Something you're embracing? Is it something you're like, no comment?
No, I mean, I'll totally comment. I think for me and photography, I use it in a way where I like speed certain things up. Like if I am expanding a background, if I'm like trying to maybe change, like extend like a forest, like upwards, like I'll use it for things where like in an end result image, you wouldn't like even think about things being AI because it just seems natural. So I think that's how I use it in my process. Like I like to use like generative fill in Photoshop. I feel like that's a really helpful tool. And I just recently went to like a Adobe summit, like, and we talked a lot about AI because I feel like it is so up and coming and it really is like changing the game. And I think as a photographer, I use it in a way of just like aiding my process along in ways where I can save time, especially like in the past. Like I remember when I was shooting with like an old camera that didn't have a lot of megapixels per se, like I would shoot my subject and then I would literally capture like images around my subject and then go into like Photoshop and like manually place them all together like a puzzle and like erase and like just try to make the image bigger and better. And now you can do those things within like a click. And I feel like within this space, like there are certain things you don't have to embrace, but like you could choose to do that. And I feel like for me, I choose to use it in a way where it speeds up my process, but I'm not like completely like taking away the creative aspect. And that's what's really cool, I think, about also shooting subjects is if you're going to use like AI in a way along with like a person, I feel like AI is not at the spot where like it can replicate a person. You know, it's getting there, like, which is like a little scary. But I think that's what's really cool about like portrait photography is that it's still like that raw person, but maybe elements, again, like expanding the background or cleaning things up can be you know, you could save time with that.
Right,
for sure.
Right. That's such a good tip. Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, mine's my therapist. I don't know if you have been telling ChatGPT everything.
Yes,
but
100%.
Do not recommend, actually.
Yeah, I know, because then it just feeds you what you want to know.
Yeah.
But I know, for me, like, also, I am definitely not the best writer. And so I will, like, sometimes use it for cleaning my work. Because I never wanted to, like, use it for, like, everything, especially with, like, the impacts of like energy and all of that. Like I'm trying to be mindful of things like that. But I think when it comes down to just like taking my words and like still being true to me, but just kind of cleaning it up and making things move a little bit faster. And like I said, like I don't have a whole team around me. So sometimes it is nice to be able to use these tools that do feel like a team member in a way. So like if you're someone like me who it's maybe just you behind the computer, to you behind the camera, like you know, you could take advantage of certain tools to be able to make your workflow a little bit faster, just being mindful of the end result product and never like just copy pasting whatever it says, throwing it in an email. Definitely wouldn't suggest that now, because I think there are like key little things now that you can sense are AI, like especially within writing. There's like the long dash that ChatGPT always uses, and like just the word flow of it all, like you can kind of tell. So I wouldn't recommend that. But if you want to maybe take what you wrote and sort of clean it up like once in a while, like, I mean, you know.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's about like speeding up your existing workflows, not like giving up workflows or changing or using a shortcut. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's play our little hot potato question game that we have with all of our guests. So I'm going to read the previous question that we had from...
I'm nervous.
I don't know if you know DG Photo. That's his handle. But
yes, it sounds really familiar.
Yeah, you probably do. You probably follow each other. He's a portrait photographer who like shoots on the streets, and he like captures the BTS for TikTok. So he'll like go up to strangers.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. David, he's so sweet.
Sometimes the usernames and the names don't match, but yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is from David. David asked, if you could do content with someone in the present or the past, who would it be?
Ooh. I feel like for me, like I really want to also get into like more I guess like celebrity shoots or like press shoots for different like movie junkets or things like that. So I feel like I would try to pick like maybe a celebrity to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe I would go with like Billie Eilish or someone that is like doing really cool work in like a different sort of like genre, and like also knows how to like move in front of the camera too, because I feel like I'm definitely not the best when it comes down to like posing. So it would help also to have someone that kind of knows what they're doing, but just like in a different way.
Yeah. Oh my God, a Billy Brandon collab is something I need right now.
I like that name. The names sound good together. So I feel like maybe, hopefully.
We're going to at her and see what she's doing later. Okay, I love that. And then if you could ask our next question, and again, you don't know who the guest is, it's a surprise, but it could be anything on their kind of content creator journey, or you can get deep with it, or, you know, keep it fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I would ask them if they had like, and they could choose whatever camera and like lens and gear they want to use, but I guess what kind of light would you bring if you only had like one light to bring with you, like for everything and like every shoot?
Oh, I love this. I love this. And I hear Profoto sponsoring this episode as we speak.
Yeah. It would need to be like universal. Like you would need to be able to like use it anywhere, I guess.
Sure.
So it would need to be like specific, but I'm very curious as to what maybe someone would say.
Okay. And before we wrap up, you have to tell me what your light would be, because we can't let you go on that cliffhanger.
Yeah. I think for me, like I would opt for something I'm using literally right now, and that's a ring light, because it feels so like versatile with, especially with like creating content, but also like calls you're taking. Also, like I'm using it in a studio for like hair and makeup. Like it's so like versatile, where one time I've used it at a shoot for hair and makeup, and then like I transitioned it into like lighting my subject like on the shoot.
Oh, wow.
So, and like one that like also you can charge, but is like battery operated, you can like unplug and bring with you. I think for me would be
portable,
iconic.
Easy, light, genius.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Brandon. This was such a great episode. Can you tell everyone where to follow you if they're not, if they are behind the times for whatever reason?
Thank you. Yeah, you can follow me anywhere, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. I'm at Brandon Woelfel. On TikTok, I am at Brandon_Woelfel. But if you search my name, you'll find me, and then we can chat.
And thank you so much, Brandon. I really appreciate your time. I hope everyone follows him if you're not. And make sure to follow us at bh.creators on Instagram and bhcreators on TikTok. Until the next time, thank you.